Hi YouTube! Today I'm going to be showing you my record collection and I'm so excited because I love my records that I do have and I'm really looking forward to showing them with you. I don't have a huge collection, I'm just going to say first off. They're not really in order either, by the way, I'm just going to show you one by one. First off we have Human League Dare. This is a fabulous album. It is something that I feel everyone should have, really. That's what it looks like on the inside. It's just that very iconic image on the front. I'm sure you've all recognise it. Susie and the Banshees, Once Upon a Time, the singles. Maybe if you're wanting to get into Susie and the Banshees but you haven't quite yet, then maybe listen to this. It's got all those singles on there, so it could be a good place to start. Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark, I really love them very, very much. Adam and the Ants, I love Adam and the Ants so much. This is one of the first records that I bought actually. The first records that I bought were in Barcelona. I bought 3 and this was one of them. I thought it would be a good way to start my collection, so. Susie and the Banshees, Superstition. Again, it's one of the first albums that I bought on vinyl. Here I've got one of my all-time favourite songs on vinyl. This is Soft Cell's Say Hello, Wave Goodbye. I absolutely adore this song. I've also got Tainted Love as well. I think the artwork is so gorgeous as well. This is one of my all-time favourite albums, which I have mentioned on here before, and this is Bauhaus Burning from the Inside. Again, I love the album artwork, and this is what the inside looks like, which I also really love. I think it's so gorgeous and interesting. And it's got She's and Parties on there, which is always a favourite. Planet Earth, Duran Duran. Okay, I think a bit of Duran Duran's coming up now, so is there something I should know? There they are, all there looking absolutely beautiful. I love Duran Duran very, very much. I've got Rio, of course. Another Bauhaus one here. This is the singles 81 to 83. This is Juju by Susie and the Banshees. This is the album I would really recommend if you want to get into goth music and you want to get into Susie and the Banshees. I recommend this album to start off with. Just take it out the wrapper there. So that's what it looks like. After that, I've got only vinyl I actually do have of my third favourite band, Marilyn Manson, and this is Mechanical Animals, and so it came like this. So Mechanical Animals is probably after the golden age of grotesque and Portrait of an American Family. This is my third favourite Marilyn Manson album, and if you didn't know already, I'm a huge Marilyn Manson fan. More Duran Duran. This is their first album. It's got Planet Earth, which is one of my favourite Duran Duran singles. I love this album so much. So this is Number One in Heaven by Sparks. This is when Sparks kind of went a little bit more synthy and strange, a different way, because they were a bit strange already, weren't they? But it's absolutely brilliant. If you're into synthy kind of music, and I'm really into synthy kind of music, then I would totally recommend this album. It's like only got like 6 songs on there, but it's just, and it's not very long, but it's so good. So stepping away from the 80s for a moment, this is Lana Del Rey's Born to Die. I am a huge Lana Del Rey fan, and this is my favourite of hers. I know she's got Honeymoon coming out, which I'm really looking forward to, and it's got all those on there. I'm sure you recognise quite a few of those songs. And this is Japan, Obscure Alternatives. Again, Japan, this is just like some singles of theirs, so it's got quite a bit from, even like from their first. So this is Psycho Candy by the Jesus and Mary Chain. Oh, this is really cool. Look at this, it's like looks like that on the inside. It's just really interesting. This is one of my favourites to put on actually. I listened to this one again a hell of a lot. But like really just recent and completely different thing from everything I've just been talking about. I am also a huge fan of the 1975. I listened to this album non-stop like last autumn. So when I listen to this album now, I just kind of go back in time a little bit, only a little bit, to like last year when this is all I listened to. It's really cool because it's like all clear, as you can see. This album here is one of my all-time favourite albums. This is Kimono My House by Sparks. Every single song on this is so good. I just think it's such a fab album. I listened to this a lot at Christmas last year, so it kind of takes me back to Christmas time. Next up we have Kraftwerk, The Man Machine. This is my favourite by Kraftwerk. On the inside like them, on the back, and if you're into Kraftwerk, then you'll really, I think, appreciate how beautiful this all is, and the album itself is just fab. Again, if you're into synthy kind of stuff like me, and you like things like Gary Newman and OMD and Human League, things like that. I mean, Kraftwerk are a bit more strange, and they're not something I can listen to a lot constantly, but every once in a while I'll put this on. Duran Duran again, Seven and the Ragged Tiger, and sorry, you can see my laptop there, it's kind of glaring a little bit. David Bowie, Ziggy at the BBC. I have got the Ziggy Stardust album, but I say I've got it, my dad has it, so it's in his collection, but that is that. Something else now, X-Ray Specs, Germ-Free Adolescence. You probably recognise this album cover, and yeah, they're kind of all punk, but I love it. My favourite Susie and the Banshees album, Join Hands, which again is slightly more punky. Can you see the inside there? It's just so beautiful. And got a bit of Sisters of Mercy here. One of my favourite bands, and I don't know if I've mentioned them on here before, it's Echo and the Bunnymen, and this is Songs to Learn and Sing. So it's got like all the real classic songs. It's got my favourite, Do It Clean. It's also got The Cutter, The Killing Moon, Seven Seas. So it's kind of something I'd recommend to everyone, although I absolutely adore Ocean Rain, which I'm yet to purchase on vinyl, but I really want to. Another one of my all-time favourite songs I am very happy that I have on vinyl, and that is Strawberry Switchblade since yesterday. It's just such gorgeousness. It's a gorgeous song, they're gorgeous people, gorgeous artwork. I love it. If you haven't listened to the song, then you must listen to it. This is Japan's Quiet Life. This is probably my favourite Japan album, and yes, I've got more Japan coming up now. This is Tin Drum. This is probably one that probably most people are familiar with, I would say. The last album they did as Japan anyway, and it's got Ghosts on there, which is their most well-known song. This is Sisters of Mercy, Floodland. This is just something I had to have on vinyl. I just feel like it's one of those albums everyone must have on vinyl. Perfectly gothy. Something a little bit different now, again, Gerard Way, Hesitant Alien, and I'm a huge My Chemical Romance fan, and I saw this in HMV recently and I had to get it because I really love Gerard Way's solo album. I think it's so good. If you do like My Chemical Romance but you haven't listened to his music, then you really should. I guess this kind of stuff is more similar to what I usually listen to anyway, so again, it's one of my favourite albums ever, and I just absolutely love it. And this is Lady Gaga's The Fame. This is my favourite Lady Gaga album. It doesn't have Again Again on it, which is like one of my favourite songs of hers, which is on one version of the Fame album, but not on this. But it's got Brown Eyes, which is another of my all-time favourite Gaga songs. I'm just a huge Gaga fan. I talked about in my Goth Confessions that she is one of my favourite solo singers, really. I adore Blondie. This is the best of Blondie. I was listening to this the other day actually. Strawberry Switchblades album. So beautiful, so beautiful. If I just open this up so you can see on the inside. So it looks like... So if you are a Strawberry Switchblade fan and you love them so much as I do, I mean, look how beautiful they are. I would totally recommend having this on vinyl because I think it's so lovely. Again, the Jesus and Mary Chain Darklands. So I probably like this as much as Psycho Candy actually. Now you're gonna have this one on vinyl. You just have to. Only Theatre of Pain by Christian Death. There it is on the back as well. Such an experience to listen to it. I would recommend anyone that hasn't listened to it to listen to Only Theatre of Pain. It's their best album in my opinion. If you're just starting out with goth music, then this is a must. Okay, so here we go. Cure and Depeche Mode. So, Japanese Whispers. I've got The Cure, The Head on the Door. I've got The Top, The Cure Pornography. 17 Seconds, Standing at the Beach, The Singles, Three Imaginary Boys. I've got Lullaby here. This is a beautiful thing to have on vinyl. Their most recent album, even though it was 2008, for a long time ago now, guys. 413 Dream. My all-time favourite Cure album, Faith. This is my love on treat. So, Disintegration Songs Live. The very important album that is Disintegration. The inside of it, the back, and if you know The Cure, this is like the album that everyone loves and knows. Last up is Depeche Mode. So we've got the single, it's called A Heart, A Question of Lust, Speak and Spell, Depeche Mode singles, the emotional roller coaster of an album that is Songs of Faith and Devotion. What can I say about this album? Their last album with Alan Wilder, so it makes me cry when I listen to it, but it also just, it is quite emotionally draining when listening to this album, but in the best possible way. Probably one of their best, or definitely one of their best. Violator, obviously. How can I not have this? This album is like, you know, The Cure and Disintegration. This album is the album that everyone thinks of when they think of Depeche Mode. It's got Enjoy the Silence and Personal Jesus on there. And this is the album that I listened to when I got ready this morning. Let's just prepare for this moment. This is my all-time favourite album. And this is Black Celebration by Depeche Mode. It is, yes, indeed, my all-time favourite album. So obviously I had to have it on vinyl. It's quite a bit darker than their previous stuff, I guess. But every song on it is really, really good. But I could say that about all these Depeche Mode albums. Every song on it is good. Some Grateful Ward, another one of my favourites. And Music for the Masses. A very, very important album again. I just think if you're into kind of synthy 80s music, then you probably have already listened to them anyway. But if not, then listen to these albums because they're bloody brilliant. And that is everything. I hope you enjoyed this video. The next video that I will be doing will be a makeup tutorial, and I will see you all very, very soon. Bye everyone.